Glenyce Hughes, and I get to facilitate people in creating their dreams come true. How the heck did I get so lucky? And yes, I'm in my swimming pool. You knew this was coming. You know, for the summer here in Canada, I'll be doing as much as I can here in the swimming pool, because I love it. Now, you might also notice there's stuff like snow falling. It's not snow. It's what I call tree sperm. It's all the fluff from the trees looking to go get planted somewhere. And I think this year is more than we've ever had before, because holy man, this is crazy. We have to keep scooping out the pool. But anyway, what shall we talk about this week? Well, are you acknowledging your capacities? So a few weeks ago, I spent some time with some friends, and in the earlier part of the day, a few of the friends were going on an adventure together, and they were discussing it. I was sitting there. I wasn't part of the conversation because I'm not going on that adventure, but I was sitting there. I was hearing them talk about it. A few hours later, there was only two of the three of them together, and they were talking about it. And they were talking about leaving on a certain day. And I looked at them and I said, but the other person said they wanted to leave on this day. And they both looked at me funny. Now, I didn't really get why they looked at me funny until later. You see, that person actually never said out loud that they wanted to leave that day. I, though, am so infinitely aware, and hearing is a capacity that I have that I've never really truly acknowledged until now. Until I realized that day that I heard that person. I heard her say she wanted to leave that day, but she didn't say it. It was an energetic. It was, I was aware of it. So how, what now? Well, I have to continuously acknowledge my capacities with hearing, my capacities with awareness. Otherwise, I use it against myself. So let's say that would have been me going on that adventure, and I would have had the first conversation with the two other people, and I would have heard them say, that one person say, they wanted to leave that day. So I would have automatically just said, we'll leave that day. I wouldn't have looked at what worked for me. I wouldn't have looked at what was going to create greater. I would have heard them and just did it. And so if I don't acknowledge that, then I'm going to be constantly using it against me. I'm going to go straight to the automatic response that people are saying things to me, or we've talked about it, when really I'm just aware of what's in their head. So couple ways you can acknowledge your capacities is, one, every day ask, universe, show me my capacities. Now, you can have them with regards to specifics. Universe, show me my capacities with bodies. Usually, universe, show me my capacities with awareness, etc., etc. Or you can just keep it open, like, universe, show me my capacities. And once you start getting a sense of them, now, you might not get in a kind of a black and white example as I had, but you got to remember, this has been 20 years in the making. I've been playing with energy, and I never realized until that day. And it wasn't until even later that night when I was actually in bed and I was kind of re-looking at the whole thing, because there was such a funny energy on it for me, especially when those two people looked at me funny. And when I finally realized, oh my gosh, they never said they wanted to leave that day, and I'm aware that they would like to. So it just started to unravel it for me and to really start looking at, okay, so how can I use this to my advantage? How can I be aware of what is going on in people's heads and still look at what works for me, still look at what's going to create greater? So when I say what works for me, that doesn't even mean it's going to create greater. So this is the demand I have of myself, that I'm aware of what I would like. I'm aware of what's going to create greater. And those aren't always necessarily the same things. It's just that I have spent, possibly like you, so much time, so many years, possibly so many lifetimes, not being aware of what actually worked for me, that I've brought myself into the equation. And then I take it a step further in terms of, okay, what's going to create greater here? So Anyway, hopefully that helps for any of you that have capacities that you haven't acknowledged, that you could maybe start acknowledging so that you can be the magic that you truly be on the planet. I invite you to join us June 13th to 17th, 2022. My first ever Business Done Different. We're going to do 4 hours a day for 3 hours a day for those 5 days. And then of course we've got the pool party, bars and foundation in July. And also, have you heard of Need and Hug? Yeah, it's all about, so it's actualization. It's a 3-part series, actualization in business, which is all about utilizing your capacities for need and tug in business. That's coming up in July. Also, if you got any questions, reach out, and I look forward to chatting again next week.